observation for us is that we've been doing very well in apparel, and the fact is we've had that much of a connect, and the suggestion was there's no reason why we can't do a lot better. Our customers, we did a lot of focus groups and a lot of research around this to try and figure out, how do we take this forward, and more important, how do we prepare for future competitors who, and how do we not get left behind? And I think really that's more the inspiration rather than the potential margin. Our margins in apparel are actually relatively modest by comparison to the other apparel players, which is probably why we sell so much, number one, and number two is that the prices are good. It's not so much that we're seeing a drop in demand, as it were, but we are seeing probably a refocus, or customers who are buying somewhat differently, and that I think is probably one of the more interesting things. Is as prices really are indeed going up. There are some. We've got the obvious one is onions that everyone knows about, but perhaps what's interesting is not so much that the price of onions has increased, but what we observed is, in fact, as you would expect, people are coming in with a pretty much of a set budget and are recalibrating their purchases. It's not so much that they are not buying, but they're buying somewhat differently, or buying and changing the mix in terms of their purchase, and the result of that is not so much anything in the way of a loss of traffic, but rather just how they're spending it. And we are very catchment focused, and what that means for us is obviously trying to understand our very, very local consumer, who might be different, and in often cases is very different from one side of the city to the other, interestingly enough, as we've discovered, and therefore how do we respond and how do we speak to their needs. What is of interest, and really I guess the thing that is reassuring for us, is as we compare our monthly sales to those of our immediate competitors, basically who's performing better or not, and suffice it to say that we're doing okay.